Alright everyone, I'm Paul the Nitro Scars and welcome to the special edition of the Nitro Corner. And it is time, well normally it was for Sundays, but we're going to move it back for this week only. It's a special edition of the classic match of the week, the top 5 tag teams. As I mentioned this past Friday, Mr. JJ888844 channel asked me to name my top 5 tag teams of all time. So, Mr. JJ888844 channel, this is for you. These are the top 5 tag teams in my mind of all time. Now, what makes a great tag team? They are comprised of 2 great individual wrestlers who know what they're doing, that they've been champions in the past and have experience both in singles and in tag teams, or on the other opposite of the spectrum, a team that really made an impact as a team to start out with in their careers in professional wrestling. So let's get started with my picks of the top 5 tag teams of all time and a match that corresponds to that team. Number 5 is Loverboy Dennis Condrey and Beautiful Bobby Eaton, the Midnight Express with Jim Cornette. Not Sweet Stan and Beautiful Bobby. Now, they're a great team, but Loverboy Dennis and Beautiful Bobby gained heat. Got instant heat with their manager, Jim Cornette, in an instant. They were notorious bad guys throughout the NWA days in the mid-80s before Dennis Condrey left in '87. But during those years that they were in the NWA, from 1985 to 1987, they gained instant heat against any and all good guys in the NWA. For instance, one of those particular heated moments was when the Midnight Express and Jim Cornette jumped Dusty Rhodes and Baby Doll on national TV, ramming the tennis racket into the abdomen of Baby Doll. Most fans were thinking, oh my God, Baby Doll won't have children because of what Jim Cornette did and what the Midnight Express did. Folks, that's heat. That is instant hatred. Well, Dusty Rhodes decided to do something about it, and he and Magnum TA formed the James Gang, a couple of masked wrestlers from Texas who raised hell, drank booze, and chased women. But they were the antithesis of the Midnight Express. And we have such a case. It happened at the TBS studios back in 1986. I believe this was around May of '86, as the Midnight Express took on the James Gang. And I've listened for Jim Cornette's commentary on this one. See how the initial shock of the James Gang coming out there, and how the Midnight Express gained instant heat when they were wrestling the James Gang. This is courtesy of the DZ Matty channel, and that is number 5 on my countdown. Loverboy Dennis and Beautiful Bobby, the Midnight Express with Jim Cornette. Number 4 comprised of 2 great individual wrestlers who gelled really well as a team from 1980 to 1982 in the World Wrestling Federation. I'm talking about the former 2-time World Wrestling Federation's tag team champions, Tony Garea and Rick Martel. What a great team, a cohesive unit they were. Their timing was excellent. Their ground skills were excellent as well. And they took it to many teams. Well, we're going to show you an example of that great teamwork as they were chasing for a 3rd World Wrestling Federation Tag Team title at this particular time. We take you back to Madison Square Garden, January 18, 1982, as Pat Patterson, the first ever Intercontinental Champion. Pat Patterson served as a special guest referee as Tony Garea and Rick Martel challenged the champions that took the belts from him, the evil Mr. Fuji and the master of the Saito suplex, Mr. Saito, with Captain Louis Albano at ringside. This was a pretty good match between those 2 teams. So, Tony Garea and Rick Martel, number 4 on my list. Number 3 on my list took that cohesive unit, cohesiveness of 2 singles wrestlers gelling into a great tag team and took it to the next level. Beginning back in 1978, all the way up to 1983, they held the NWA World Tag Team titles on 5 different occasions. First team to ever do that. They were the team of Rick Steamboat and Jay Youngblood, and they are number 3 on our countdown. What a great team they were. Great scientific team. They took it to many great teams. One of those teams was their long-standing rivals, Sergeant Slaughter, and the most underrated tag team wrestler I've ever seen in my life, Don Kernodle, the pride of the Carolinas. And we'll have one of their classic bouts was inside a 15-foot-high steel cage. March 13, 1983 in Greensboro, North Carolina. It was a cage match, but a lot at stake because if Steamboat and Youngblood lost this cage match, they had to split up as a tag team. So, thanks to the Old School Wrestling channel, Rick Steamboat and Jay Youngblood versus Don Kernodle and Sergeant Slaughter for the NWA World Tag Team titles inside a 15-foot-high steel cage. And if Steamboat and Youngblood lost that match, they would have to split up as a team. And that's number 3 on my countdown, Rick Steamboat and Jay Youngblood. Number 2 in our countdown comprised of one of the great brother tag teams of all time. A man that first, one of the brothers was a former NWA World Heavyweight Champion. The other one was a former NWA Junior Heavyweight Champion and former NWA Southern State Champion. An Eastern Champion, Eastern title holder. They are Jack and Jerry, the Briscoe brothers. And we'll show you some great teamwork and toughness out of this brotherly duo. We take you back to the Omni in Atlanta, Georgia. On August 27, 1983, no disqualification. A no disqualification Texas Tornado match, meaning all 4 wrestlers can battle in the ring at the same time, as Jack and Jerry Briscoe defend the belts against the Legion of Doom. The Road Warriors were at that time the National Tag Team Champions. This match courtesy of T72 Finn's channel. The number 2 ranked team, Jack and Jerry, the Briscoe brothers. And now, the number 1 team of all time, as far as I'm concerned, it's obvious, Animal and Hawk, the Legion of Doom, the Road Warriors, the team that set the standard and revolutionized tag team wrestling and changed the face of professional wrestling for good, starting out in their careers in 1983. One of those early instances of how over the Road Warriors were, we take you back to Tampa, Florida, at the Eddie Grant Sports Complex at Battle of the Belts 85, as the AWA World Tag Team titles were on the line. In August of 85, the Battle of the Belts 2, as the Legion of Doom, the Road Warriors, took on former 8-time NWA World Heavyweight Champion Harley Race and Stan the Lariat Hansen, the man that broke Bruno Sammartino's neck. This is courtesy of the Big Dog Bomb channel. Well, there you have it. Right there, folks. No doubt about it. And courtesy, once again, I want to thank Mr. JJ888844 channel for posing that question. I hope that question answered your question. And that is it for the Classic Match of the Week. The Classic Match of the Week will return on Sunday. Now, don't forget tomorrow, the booking sheet for Bound for Glory. Until then, I'm Paul the Nitro Skyver saying, so long, everybody. We'll see you tomorrow.